Hi, this is Professor Correa, and today I'm going to teach you about indefinite and negative words in Spanish, which we call them expresiones indefinidas y negativas. We use these expressions in a daily conversation. For example, in this image, we have a dialogue between two people at a restaurant. One person asks, ¿Deseas ordenar algo? Do you want to order anything? And the response will be, Realmente no me apetece nada. Really, I don't feel like having anything. So what we notice in these two expressions is that the indefinite words in the question, algo, refers to people or things that are not specific. Example, something, someone. The negative words, on the contrary, deny the existence of people and things, or simply contradict the statement. Example, nada, or nothing, or nadie, or nobody. Let's take a look at what are those indefinite words. In Spanish, we have the following indefinite words. Algo, alguien, alguno, alguna, algunos, algunas, siempre, también, o. Each of these indefinite words have its corresponding negative word. Algo, opposite, nada. Alguien, nadie. Alguno o alguna, ninguno, ninguna. Algún, ningún. Siempre, nunca o jamás. También, tampoco. O, ni. How to use these indefinite words? Indefinite words usually are affirmative words that we use as part of a question. Here we have two examples of questions that you can use indefinite words. Example number 1. ¿Deseas algo más? Do you want anything else? Or example number 2. ¿Hay alguien en casa? Is anybody home? So we have the words algo and alguien used to find out if there is anything or is there anyone. In these examples, we see how to use negative words. On the first example to the left, you see that is used as part of an expression or an statement. Ninguno sabe la respuesta. Nobody knows the answer. On the picture to the right, you have no hay nada en el apartamento. It's part of a negative statement. No, there's nothing on the apartment. Use the negative words as part of a statement or as an answer to a question, but both to imply that there is no existence of the person or the object you are referring to. How do we position the negative words? There are two ways to form negative statements in Spanish. First, place the negative word before the verb. In this case, there is no need of no, because it's a statement. Examples. En mi casa, nadie bebe café. My house, nobody drinks coffee. Or, yo nunca hablo por teléfono. I never speak on the phone. In these two statements, there is no need of no, but make sure that you put always the negative word before the verb. The second case will be when we have a double negative. We usually have these double negatives when they are part of a response. Place the negative word after the verb. And like we did in example number 1, we have En mi casa no bebe café nadie. Or Yo no hablo por teléfono nunca. Notice that in these two sentences there is a need of no to simply deny the existence. But make sure that you have also a negative word written at the end of the sentence. Let's take a look at how to use it with people. How to use alguno, alguna, and what's the difference with alguien. Alguno or alguna can be used as anybody or anyone or even any of you in a question. Remember, alguno for masculine, alguna for feminine. Let's take a look at some examples. ¿Alguno de ustedes tiene la llave? Does any of you have the key? ¿Alguno sabe la respuesta? Does anybody know the answer? I have used alguno in this question just to imply in general to anybody. But if I want to ask these questions are referring to specifically a female, I will say, ¿Alguna chica habla español? Does any girl here speak Spanish? So that's the difference between alguno and alguna. But what is alguien? Alguien means someone. And if you want to ask a question in Spanish to express not a gender specifically, and you want to use it as neutral, there's no need to mention the male or female. You just use alguien. Example. ¿Alguien sabe cocinar? Does anybody know how to cook? In this case, alguien refers to not specifically male or female. We have heard the word algún in Spanish and alguno. So what's the difference between these two? Let's take a look. Alguno and algún designate a masculine noun, but here is the difference. Alguno is used only before the noun when the male subject is implied. Example. ¿Alguno va para la biblioteca? Does anyone is going to the library? I use alguno to either refer that a male student might go to the library. Algún, however, is used when the male subject is specifically mentioned. So we get rid of the O. Examples. ¿Algún chico va para la biblioteca? I have replaced the O of alguno for chico. And algún will have an accent and will become the preceding infinitive word. Use the appropriate negative form in the double negatives. No, ninguno va para la biblioteca. In this case, the O refers to a masculine subject. Or, no, ningún chico va para la biblioteca. If you want to get rid of the O and make it specifically, no, none of the guys is going to the library, I will have to say ningún and chico must be mentioned. So if you do not want to mention the subject specifically, you will say alguno. But if you mention the subject like boy, guy, or man, you will say ningún. Let's now take a look at the differences of how to use either or in Spanish. When someone offers two choices in the affirmative, you can use o between the two options. Take a look at this example. ¿Deseas café o té? You want tea or coffee? In the negative answer, when someone responds, you can use ni instead of the o, and make sure that you put ni before each option. In the case that you are asking if you want coffee or tea, you will have to place ni before any of these two options. Example. No gracias. No bebo ni café ni té. No thank you. I don't drink neither coffee nor tea. So let's summarize what we've learned so far. Negative words deny the existence or contradict statements. Make sure that you match the indefinite word used in the question with the appropriate negative word used in the answer. For example, algo will be the affirmative and nada will be the negative. Alguien versus nadie. Siempre versus nunca. Alguno versus ninguno, etc. Use the words in first statements or in negative responses, either before the verb or after no. Example. If you want to use the negative word alone without the no, make sure that you place it before the verb. Nadie vive aquí. Nobody lives here. If you want to place it in a negative response, make sure that you use no before. No, nadie vive aquí. And finally, use algún and ningún when the subject male is mentioned and alguno or ninguno when it is simply implied. Thank you.